All right, what's going on, everybody? How's it going? Hope you all are having an excellent day so far. Welcome to the next video installment of the What the Hell Is This video series that I'm doing for Path of Exile. For those of you that might be watching this, or those of you that might not know, with Echoes of the Atlas that just got announced a couple days ago, they're adding significantly more complexity to the Atlas system that we'll be enjoying in the next expansion coming out next week. So I wanted to do this video to give everybody a base understanding, especially for new players, of the Atlas and the endgame mapping system in Path of Exile. Now, this is not a super intuitive system. There's lots of complexity here. So I wanted to break this out so that when they do release Echoes of the Atlas, everybody who might be jumping into the game for the first time or might have just gotten to maps can have a bit of a better understanding of how the endgame mapping system works, how to progress it, etc., etc. So we're going to touch on a lot of stuff, guys. We're going to talk about map tiers, map completion versus actual completion, the citadels, influence, watchstones, sextants, bonus objectives, awakening level, your Atlas bonus, your favorite map slots, and we're also going to touch on the individual conquerors, how to find them, how to progress, and just kind of what to look out for each one. So this is going to be a bit of a long video, guys, so buckle up because there is a lot to unpack here. Okay, first off, for the new player, maps, which is this what you see right now, is the endgame system that you unlock and you start getting into. You'll start seeing map drops Act 9, 10, sometimes a little earlier. But once you start getting into the higher 50s, lower 60s, you'll start seeing these maps drops and you'll wonder, what the heck do I even do with these? Once you beat the 10th act, you'll go into the endgame area and you'll do another little story progression. I won't spoil anything for those of you that want, but essentially what it leads to is you discovering the map device, which is this sweet little thing right here, right? So if you press G on your keyboard, that opens up your Atlas. And at first glance, this is not what you will see. All right, you'll see just this center area, right? You'll see a few maps around the center that are open, and as you progress, it kind of spreads outwards. That's opposite from how it used to be. You used to start on the fringes and come into the center where you would fight the endgame bosses. It's reversed now, and there's lots of changes. So you have 3 different tiers of maps. You have your white maps, which is your tier 1 through 5, your yellow maps, which is T6 through 10, and your red maps, T11 through 16. Then you have some unique maps spread around in there that are just special boss fights or special encounters, which are pretty cool. But those are the tier of maps. Now, when you start off in the new Atlas system, or I guess the new Atlas system, this one with Conquerors, all the maps in all the region are going to be white. They're all going to start off, and that allows you to run any map at the lower tier as you kind of progress through. Now, you'll get map completion as you go along, right? And if you hover over a map, you'll see, okay, here's a tier 2 map, the Caldera map. The bonus is kill of a magic or higher tier version of this map. So what that means is that in order for you to get progression on a map, right, let's pull it out of Caldera. So if you run the map just as is with nothing, you will not get that bonus. You'll still get the completion for it, but you will not get the bonus towards your Atlas, right? So what you need to do is transmute it. So now that it is rare, now you will get that bonus completion for that map. And vice versa for yellow tier maps, right? 6 through 7. So we'll just grab this Coral Ruins, right? So running it like this, you will not get anything. Running it as a magic map will not give you anything. Yellow maps need to be run as rare, using an Orb of Alchemy or some form of to make it rare, in order to get your completion bonus. All right, now why do you want to do that? All right, so as you complete the bonus objectives on those maps, you get a better chance for higher tier maps to drop, either 1 or 2 tiers higher, which is huge. That's how you progress your Atlas. You run the maps with the bonus objectives, you start getting a better pool of maps, and the game intuitively adds a better chance to get a higher tier map than the one you are in, and then you run that one, and as you run all those maps, etc., etc., it kind of snowballs, right? So if you have nothing but tier 1 maps, if you get all the bonus objectives for the tier 1 maps, you're significantly, even a few objectives, you're significantly more likely to get tier 2 maps or tier 3 maps, and vice versa. It just kind of snowballs all the way up to tier 16 maps. Now, with that being said, you'll see these nodes on the map, the citadel, right? What is that? That's not on my map. How do I get that? That is found as you run maps in the area. So eventually you'll run through, you're running the maps, and you'll run into an NPC. And again, I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody who's jumping in for the first time, okay? But for those of you that know, it's the prominent map NPC. And that individual will open a portal for you to the Citadel where you will get your first Watchstone. All right? So once you get your Watchstones are these little nodes, these little balls right here. And there's 4 different types. There's the yellow, the blue, the red, and the green. And those all come from specific bosses, and we'll get to that in a second. But once you get these are what will increase the tiers in the individual areas. So as you can see, the atlas is broken up into sections, right? Each section has its own citadel where you can socket Watchstones into. Now, you'll unlock those as you go, so let's not worry about how complex it looks right now. Let's look at first what a Watchstone does. So let's say I just ran my Caldera map, right? We're in Conquerors, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, this matches this color. Let's put this in here. What does that do? And notice all the maps are white, right? When I put this in, you notice how the maps change. So now what was tier 1 through 5 maps are now tier 5 and up maps. That is how you progress with Watchstones. Then, as you keep going, you'll start running those yellow maps, and yellow maps, you'll get more Watchstones for each area, and it'll slowly fill out the atlas. Now, this can be kind of convoluted. This does take a while to do, guys. So, especially if you're jumping in for the first time, do not be upset if you're having map problems early. Just work on completing as many of those bonus objectives as possible. I promise it'll work. They did have some map issues a while back where it was just like map drops were garbage, but they have balanced that out. Maps are very, very fluid now. You shouldn't run into too many hard walls. And if you do, make sure you're using your Watchstones and make sure you're completing all the maps that you have in your disposal, right? So that is what the Watchstones do. So when you defeat the boss, you'll go in and you'll get your first few Watchstones for free. Then you'll have to start fighting the Conquerors, right? Now, there are 4 Conquerors. You have the Crusader, the Hunter, the Redeemer, and the Warlord. And each one has a corresponding color. And again, I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you guys, so feel free to pause the video, go back, digest as you will, because this is kind of complicated, but the complexity of the map system is what gives PoE its infinite replayability. It's so good, you guys. Like, I'm at almost 10,000 hours playing this game, and I've been making build videos and all this stuff. I really enjoy this, and even after 10,000 hours, I'm still hyped to jump in, re-level, build new builds, use the new skills, and just experience the new expansions every single league, right? And this one, not only are we getting the Ritual League, but we are getting a full addition to the complexity of this. So, the Hunter is going to be your green. The Warlord is going to be this, I don't know, off yellow, this like smoky fire color. The Redeemer is going to be your blue. It's going to look exactly like this, but it's going to be blue. And then your Crusader is going to be your red. So those are the kind of colors and how you distinguish them. And those Conquerors correspond to a color of Watchstone, right? So the Crusader is going to be your red, the Hunter is going to be your green, the Redeemer is going to be your blue, and the yellow is going to be your Warlord. Now, once you complete, if you hover over the Citadel, you'll see, oh, obtained. So what that means is you have gotten that Watchstone from that boss in that area. And the way you get Watchstones for all the areas is you have to defeat each boss in each of these segmented areas to gather all of your Watchstones. That's how the progression system works. So as you complete, like let's say I kill the Warlord here. Okay, cool, I got my yellow. And then I keep running maps in this area, right? Then I will get another spawn and another spawn. And you do this throughout your atlas. Now, the Watchstones are not locked to individual regions. For instance, I can take this Watchstone out of here and put it in Turn's End to up the number of maps as well as the tier of maps in another one. They are not tied to individual regions. And if you want to play around with them, you can just control click and it stores it in the region that it dropped from. Okay, that's how it knows, like, oh, you've obtained this, you've obtained this. Let's see if I can find one. Yeah, okay, so perfect. So even though in Turn's End, I have not technically obtained any of the Watchstones, right? But I can put the Watchstones from the other area if I like the maps in that region better. Okay, so once you spawn it, so you see how the Crusader is I already defeated the Crusader, right? Fought it, defeated it, and you notice it shows up right here while these are still empty. So if we go over here and we look at the Crusader, right? The Conqueror cannot spawn, right? And the reason that these other ones are also Conquerors cannot spawn is because they are on other areas of the Atlas, right? So the only one that's not on our Atlas is blue right now, which is why that one says number of socketed Watchstones required to spawn Conqueror is 4. So you have to have 4 Watchstones in this Citadel running maps in that area to spawn that Conqueror, right? Once you defeat all 4 is when these will fill up, and the NPC in your hideout will give you a portal that you can then go into and fight Cirrus. So you'll see a lot of streamers and a lot of stuff fighting like Awakener 8 Cirrus, right? That's kind of how that works. So as you complete full areas, so you notice how this was 4 when it was 5 earlier? Let me show you something. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 of 4 socketed Watchstones. Those are full citadels, which is where you get your awakening level from. If I take this golden Watchstone and I add it to Turn's End, my awakening level goes up to 5. Before we get into awakening level, let me touch on this. Sextants go on your Watchstones, right? So you'll see streamers and stuff juicing maps, right? All that is taking one of these, having it in the Citadel, right? And then you just click on it, right? And that adds that to that Watchstone. Now, if you take that out, that is still sextanted. You can still have sextants on this, right? So there's your sextants. You can have a sextant on each one. Using multiple sextants on the same Watchstone will re-roll the modifier for that Watchstone. So that's how you juice, right, maps. And if you hover over it, you'll see that that affix is now on every single map. Okay? So that's kind of how sextants work. I just wanted to touch on that real quick, just so people can understand what that's about. Now, the bonus objectives, right? So you can have a bonus objective, but then there's also an awakening bonus and an awakening level. So awakening levels, it's all right here, but in short, what it does is it makes the maps and the bosses more difficult, especially Cyrus. So the difference between awakening Cyrus, like an awakening 5, which is what this is examples at, versus an awakening 8 is pretty substantial. They do more damage, they have more health, they're tankier, they're just stronger, and not even more aggressive, but just they have more damage and more life, and they take a lot more finesse and being careful to take down unless you're doing some bananas a billion exalt build, right? So awakening level just increases stuff from unique bosses and from the map boss and Conquerors dropping additional stuff. It just gives you more loot and more challenge. Harder it is, the better loot you're supposed to get, supposedly, right? Because killing Cyrus and getting nothing always feels bad. But that is what the awakening level is. And again, you get that by putting 4 Watchstones in a Citadel to raise that awakening level. And that's how you kind of progress. So now that we touched on awakening level, let's touch on the Atlas bonus. So your completed bonus objectives, right, versus your completed awakening bonus objectives are just, again, to increase the chance of maps, Atlas missions, stuff like that. So the awakening bonus objectives gives you additional chance to receive Atlas missions, which are what these are on the right-hand side. So you have your Einhar, your Alva, your Nico, your June, and your Zana, right? So these are your master missions, right? And completing more and more awakening objectives gives you a better chance to receive an Atlas mission, to just do more content in your Atlas, right? So that's how that increases. Now, if you hover over that, for example, look at this one. So our iceberg map, I have the bonus objective because I completed the map, magic or higher, and then you have your awakening bonus objective, which is complete this map with at least tier 14 and awakening level 2. So if I'd have to put full Watchstones in that and be at least Awakening level 2 to get that bonus objective to give me more missions. So the Awakening objective gives you better chance for missions. The bonus objectives gives you more chance for more maps of higher tiers. Okay. Whew. All right. So that's a lot. We're going to keep going. But again, pause this video, go back, rewind. I know I'm hucking a lot of stuff at you guys, but that's because there's a lot. So feel free to rewatch. You can like and subscribe. That doesn't really matter to me. I just want you guys to understand what's going on, because what the hell is this is a lot of the things that people say when they open up like 90% of the content in Path of Exile. So I hope this is being helpful so far. Now we're going to touch on the map slots themselves. So if you look over here, you have slots that you can unlock that help prioritize the mapping systems, giving you maps that you want to run. This can be any map, whatever you like. If you like Strand, if you like Beach, if you like Caldera, if you like running Burial Chambers, trying to get that Doctor card, all that kind of stuff. This is how you do that. So once you complete all the objectives, right, all the non-unique maps in this region will unlock a slot. And all you do to apply that slot is you click on it, and then you click on the map that you want, and it'll apply it. So we just put Vault as one of my favorites. And if you want to change, you can change these at any time. Like, oh, okay, well, I'm done with that. I want to run, Burial Chambers now. Or, you know what? I don't like Burial Chambers. I want to do Colosseum, which is a terrible map. Don't do that. But it allows you to select and help prioritize the mapping system to give you maps that are fun to run for you, right? And as you can unlock 3 total of these. So the first one is just completing the maps. The second one is completing all the bonus objectives and non-unique maps. And the third one is completing all Awakening objectives in addition to all those things. So you complete the maps, you complete the bonus objectives, and then you complete all the Awakening objectives to unlock all 3. It is important to note that one thing that you want to do if you want to prioritize a specific map from a specific region is to look at the tiers and have one tier 16 map, one tier 15, and one tier 14. If you have a couple that you want, that's fine. But if you're looking for that increase for one map specifically, make sure that is the T16 map that you choose as a favorite. That'll help, again, prioritize that map specifically instead of this. So that might be confusing. Let me explain what I mean. So when the map system rolls and your drop is calculated, right, it'll go, hey, what's this? Okay, it's going to be a T16 map. Here's the pool of our T16 maps that can drop for this player based on their objectives and their completion. Okay, and it will select one of those maps from that pool and give it to you. This will prioritize one of those, right? It'll still roll for it, and you might still not get that map as a T16, but it will have a higher priority in the drop pool. So that's how that system works, right? Just in the background of the game and the actual programming. You have a pool of maps. This helps prioritize a specific map, but you can still get other T16 or whatever tier maps with that being your favorite. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that real quick because that can be kind of confusing. So that is your favorite map slot, right? If you don't want to hover over the citadels, you can just hover over the respective areas. So you can see obtained. Because I've killed the Crusader right here, so red can't spawn. Green is on the map in another region, can't spawn in this region. Yellow is on a map in another region, can't spawn in this region. But blue is not completed or on the region, which is why this one can still spawn. If we look down here, not obtained, you'll see a similar thing. Conqueror cannot spawn. You can spawn it, but you need 4 Watchstones, and then you can't spawn. That's going to be the same for every area, and as I complete green will not spawn in another area. One more thing I wanted to touch on the Conquerors. How you find these is random. As you're going through the maps and you're completing maps and stuff, they will randomly pop up. They'll yell at you some sort of shenanigans about what you're doing there, and then they'll freak out and spawn a bunch of special monsters at you throughout the map, right? When you do that, that Conqueror has identified that he is in that area. You'll talk to an NPC in your hideout. They'll say, oh my gosh, they're here. You'll talk to a couple other people. And then as you complete on the left, you'll see a progression bar. Now, this is the last thing I'm going to touch on regarding the Conquerors. But the progression bar, so for instance, I have green spawned in Lex Proxima, right? Here this is. This progression bar is how many maps you have to finish in order to get him to spawn to fight him for a watchstone and additional loot to progress towards Sirius. So for instance, different tiers, if you have a lot of Conquerors that have already spawned, or you've spawned that Conqueror, these get longer and longer the higher in awakening level you go and the more of them that you've completed. So for instance, that's why this Warlord one is shorter, right? I haven't done as much stuff in this region, right? So I haven't obtained it, it's shorter. In this region, I have obtained it, so it's longer. I've done him before in this region. So that's why the progression is longer. So you need to complete 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maps in order to get him to spawn to fight him as a boss. Now, the blank ones are no additional crazy monsters, and the blue ones in that map will have additional packs of hunter monsters. So those are kind of that's how that works. So they all correspond to a system, right? This is the one for Hesmond. This was the one for Drox, Bran, etc. So that's how that progresses. Now, once you've completed all 4, you can fight Sirius, and you get 1 set of portals for Sirius, right? A lot of you might not get there right away. It'll take a lot of time. Sirius is very hard. But don't get discouraged. Practice. Be better. You can do it. I freaking know you can. Just like I know you guys can understand this atlas and understand kind of what's going on. So this video is already at 21 minutes. If I missed anything, you guys, let me know. You will have to, the last thing about the Conquerors, once you progress, right, you will have to talk to one of the NPCs who will tell you they found their hideout, and then you have to talk to another one who will open a special map that has them as a boss. So you'll go in, you'll kill the map boss, and it'll open another portal from that map boss where you can go and fight the Conqueror. Now, once you fight the Conqueror, and he's on here, he cannot spawn, he or she cannot spawn in any other region of the map until you kill Sirius. So if you have all 4 defeated and you're like, man, I can't kill Sirius, what the heck is going on? They will not spawn anywhere else until you either fight and kill or fail the Sirius fight. So that's important note. The second that they're on here, they cannot spawn again. Okay? So progression on the left, watchstones, favorite maps, bonus objectives, awakening objectives. So we touched on map tiers, map completion versus actual completion for your bonuses, how to get the citadels, what the different influences are, sextants, bonus objectives, sextants and how to use them, bonus objectives, what the awakening level is, what your atlas bonus is, your favorite mat slot, conquerors and how to find them, how to progress those conquerors, and then little tips on how to get to them and how to open up portals where you actually fight them. So when you finish a map and they open a portal, make sure not to close that map because it'll reset your progress. So don't kill it. Kill it. Do it. So that's kind of all I'm going to touch on for right now, guys. If I missed anything, and I might have, please let me know in the comments down below. Okay, crap. So I totally forgot something. Don't go anywhere. Forgot one thing. The map device and how to use it. Key point. Okay, so when you get your map device, you'll notice all these icons down here reflect what is on your atlas. So as you complete white tier maps, you will get white tier master missions. Yellow tier maps, yellow tier master missions. Red tier master. Words are hard, guys. Red tier master missions. So, and you'll have that for each one, and they will unlock randomly. You can't target and be like, hey, I only want to receive Alva. You can't do that yet. We'll see what goes on with Atlas and how Echoes of the Atlas and how that prioritizes. But when you receive a master's mission, it will show up here as well as here. Now, in order to run a map with a master mission, you put your map in here, right? And it automatically defaults to this, right? Item quantity of mats found in this area, which you get as you complete maps from your map bonus and your atlas bonuses, right? Fortune for the Brave picks one at random. It costs 3 chaos, so you could get one that costs 2, or you could spawn one that costs 8. So that's the benefit of doing that. The first time you run each one of these maps or each one of these affixes, it is free. It does not cost chaos. It will be free, right? So this one, this one, this one, and only once you run each one time will you have to pay chaos additionally. So let's do a nemesis one, right? So then you must also come down and click which master mission you want. So we'll do June, right? We'll activate it. We'll do June. It'll open up the map, and June is guaranteed to spawn in this map, right? So that's kind of how it works. So you see that Immortal Syndicate encounters. You will also encounter these randomly, but this is a way to guarantee as you map that you get that specific content that you enjoy or you want to do. So again, little caveat there, guys. That's how that works with your actual map device. Put the map in, select what you want, select the master mission that you want, and then open it and activate the Atlas, which will open up your portals, and you'll be able to run in and have a blast with that. So, totally forgot to put that. I'm going to edit that shenanigans in. This is meant to be an introduction for a what the hell is this video series, so I hope that kind of lays out the basics of the map progression. Once the Atlas, Echoes of the Atlas comes out, I will do another video as an advanced Atlas guide once we kind of figure out how that works and how to unlock everything and the new currencies. But that should do it for the introduction to the Atlas, the what the hell is this video series for the Atlas in Path of Exile. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions. I really appreciate it. And thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.